We're a top Canadian mining company trying to expand its operations in South Africa. South Africa is a country in the world with the most untapped proven gold mines, thrice as much as Canada. There are some aspects that we can analyze being an international situation. We will be discussing certain factors to consider, such as the currency, cost of capital, hedging, and the choice of project or internal financing. For the currency matters, to build the NPV cash flow, we need to ask ourselves if we should consider it in Canadian dollars, American dollars, or South African rand. So costs are going to be expressed in South African rands. Our investors are Canadian locals who measure their earnings in Canadian dollars. Gold is a commodity with an international value referenced in US dollars. Therefore, all expected income will be referenced in US dollars even when paid in another currency. We also analyzed how to calculate this specific cost of capital, considering that there are a lot of moving parts to this. As a developing nation, South Africa is subject to a country beta due to specific risks. Some of those risks are partially covered due to the nature of gold. Even if the South African market cannot buy all of our gold mine production, it could be sold in the international market. For this reason, empirical models such as the Lazard approach or Goldman Sachs approach might not properly capture the risk of this project, overestimating the country's risk exposure. As for hedging, it is not necessarily a value-generating activity and needs to be evaluated from a strategic mindset. So, is there an operational reason to hedge? If gold prices fall too much, the company might not have positive cash flows to pay their workers and continue with operations. However, we're a top mining company in Canada and have access to financial resources to survive a couple of periods of low gold prices. Furthermore, cost of workers may remain the same if gold prices fall. There is evidence that both gold and the rand dollar are negatively correlated to the S&P 500, and this means that if the S&P 500 rises, the price of gold falls, but also the rand exchange rate against the dollar keeps the rand competitive. Thus, we believe there is no need of hedging. Now, when considering project finance in South Africa, two items are interesting to consider. Since 1994, project financing has steadily increased in popularity in South Africa, having experienced financial institutions with structures that accelerate times and reduce costs substantially. On the government side, project finance can benefit from a tax shield due to upfront deductions on qualifying capital expenditure and fiscal stability agreements negotiated with the Minister of Finance. The company should evaluate if this compensates the extra cost of setting up a project finance structure. Now I'll pass the word to Mitpreet.
Thank you, Angie. So I'll be summarizing the recommendations we have for this project. The first consideration we had was what currency we should use for our cash flow forecast. So given the nature of gold as a commodity, we believe that it is operationally simpler for the company to use American dollars as a currency to evaluate this project and convert all the rand costs into American dollars. Second was the ideal cost of capital. We do believe that there are some risks which are unavoidable. And for these, we think we should evaluate the beta of our established mining companies in South Africa with the CAPM model based on companies like Western Areas and AngloGold Ashanti. Any other risk not captured under the CAPM beta, we can assume our investors will diversify in their own portfolios. The third consideration is hedging. We wouldn't recommend hedging unless our competitors in South Africa weren't hedging, and we would like to gain a prevalent position in the South African market. Only then we would recommend hedging. The last one is the financing choice. If you plan to do just a single project in South Africa or expand sustainably there for decades, is the question we need to ask. If the former is the case, we would recommend project financing. But if you want to settle in South Africa, we would not use project financing for this. Thank you.